Okay, it's exactly 4 p.m. CET. Shall we begin? Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our session today. We at Novonesis are very excited to present to you at the World Water Week this year, and we get to share our work towards building a more water-secure future. Given this year's theme of bridging borders, working for a peaceful and sustainable future, we are curious here to share, to connect, and to learn more about the interconnectivity of communities, nations, and the collaborative effort that is required for our more sustainable future. So in this particular session, Novonesis will showcase two concrete corporate projects to inspire other organizations towards water stewardship. So before I dive in and I introduce the speakers and also the session agenda, we would like to know a little bit more about you, and we would like to know which part of this world that you are joining us from. So we have a small exercise here on Mentimeter. I would request you to please go on to menti.com and you can use this code 16355841. And you could write to us and tell us where you are from. I'm going to pull out the Mentimeter so we could all have a look at where we are all joining from.
Radhika, it might be a good idea to share the code in the chat.
Yes, I am doing that right away. So here's the code. Please go on to menti.com and you could type this code, and we could also learn a little bit more about you and understand which part that you are joining us from. Have you been able to access the Mentimeter? Okay, it's menti.com. So you can go on to menti.com and you could type in this code. Okay, all right. I'm not able to see anyone's responses. Is anyone else having the same issue with the Mentimeter? Okay, I'm terribly sorry about that. I'm not sure why we had that small issue. I will definitely check about it. But to move on, today you will meet three of us from the team who are extremely passionate about sustainability and also water management. So we have been very closely associated with the projects that we are going to present to you, and we are really excited to share some of our learnings and challenges. So we have Marianne, who is the Vice President of Strategy, Integration, and Sustainability. We also have Kopal, who is the Head of Sustainability Deployment. And then there's me, Radhika, who will be your moderator for this session. Today, during this session, you will learn a little bit about Novonesis and who we are. You will understand why sustainability is so important to us and why it is the core of who we are. You will also learn about our approach towards water stewardship and how we are committed towards achieving overall water security, both through preserving water as a resource and also through some of our projects. And we also would like to share with you some of our learnings and challenges with the help of two specific cases. One is of reverse osmosis, a project that we are anchoring in Denmark, and the other is of our WASH and community engagement that we are anchoring here in India. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Marianne, who will tell you a little bit about our company.
Thank you, Radhika. Very pleased to be here. Novonesis is the merger of two companies, Novozymes and Christian Hansen, and the merger was approved early this year. So as a company, Novonesis is rather new, but as the two companies have very many years, legacy Christian Hansen, almost 150 years experience developing ingredients for food, nutritional agriculture to enable sustainable agriculture, food, and healthier living. And Novozymes with almost 100 years working alongside customer, partner, and global community to improve industrial performance while preserving the planet's resources and helping better lives. So together we have a lot of many years experience, and imagine what we can do together. That is what we are exploring now. So we go to the next slide, Radhika. So our purpose in Novonesis is that we are here to better our world with biology. That is why we exist. We know from the past that biology can help solve humanity's biggest challenges, for food systems that deliver more healthy food, for better health from the beginning of the life, and also as we get older, and for a healthy planet for generations to come. We are producing tiny, but mighty enzymes, functional proteins, and microbes that enable change in all living things. And we put that transformational power into the core at our biosolutions to help solve some of the biggest challenges in the world today. Will you move to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So as it says here, sustainability is simply built into Novonesis. It's how we do business. It's the core at our solutions. It's what we enable for our customers. And biosolution can help by a healthier planet, by helping our customers produce more with less. And our approach to sustainability takes that into account, and is a key aspect of how we work to enable our customers on their sustainability journey. We also engage in advocating for policies that support the green transition. We're very proud that what we do has been recognized as a leader for our ambitious commitments. We were in the first wave of companies to get our targets verified by the Science Based Initiative. In 2023, we were included in the CDP list for our action on climate change, meaning that we are ranked in the top 350 companies out of 21,000. And another rating agency, EcoVadis, that screened up to 1.3 million companies every year, ranked us in the top 1 percentile of companies on sustainability performance globally. So it is how we do business. It is what we do for our customers, and it creates a lot of passion in our company, which I hope you also can feel. And maybe you have met some of our products already today, because our products are used by more than half the world's population. And I'll give you one example out of many, because we are in many different applications and we reach many every day with that. But I'll pick one of the products we produce. We are producing solutions for laundry detergents that can take almost 30% of chemicals out of existing formulations. It means 30% less chemicals that run off down our drains and into our waterways. And in 23, our biosolutions for detergents prevented the use of 170,000 tons of chemicals, which would have run out into the waterways. We can also wash with lower temperatures, saving energy, which is not the topic for today, but it is actually a very big industry for us and one of the examples that you might have used today. People, planet, positive. That is Novonesis' sustainability ambition. It was launched earlier this year. We are in that unique situation because we deliver biosolutions to our customers that have a positive impact on the world. And we speak to this positive impact as our handprint. Having such a handprint, such a positive impact is unique. Our footprint is how we use resources in our operations in a way that delivers a more positive, rather negative impact on the world. That is our ambition. When we combine our handprint and footprint in a targeted way, we can make an enormous impact and be a driver of change. So we help customers changing the way they do things, and we change the way we do things ourselves. That is our ambition. Can you move to the next slide, Radhika? Thank you. Water stewardship is essential for Novonesis. In our production, in our development and process of our solution, we depend on the availability of water. We use water for many things. We use it for cooling, solvent, cleaning agent, and as a component of our final products. That's kind of within our operation. Then additionally, many of our raw materials that we need in our operation are agriculture-based, and they depend on water for production. Downstream, many of our biosolutions in textile, household care and grain enable customers to reduce their water consumption compared with conventional methods, or prevent water pollution by reducing dependence on hazardous chemicals. So water stewardship, that is essential for us. Will you take next slide, Radhika? So the approach we have is driven by science and our ambition to manage water in balance with local conditions at all our sites. We focus on optimizing our own water consumption, while outside operations, we work on water restoration in collaboration with external partners. And we believe that by setting ambitious targets, that will drive us forward. So we aim to improve freshwater withdrawal by recycling 10% more water by 2023, 15% more in 2030, and 20% more by 2030 compared to a 21 baseline. In addition to that, in basins close to our production site where water is a challenge, we aim to restore 10 billion liters of water by 2025 and 30 billion liters by 2030 from a 2001 baseline. And we are moving toward those targets. In 23, our water withdrawal decreased by 11% compared with 22, and wastewater discharge decreased by 7%. And the main drivers were kind of changes in our product mix. We can develop our products to less resource consuming. We can also optimize, so we produce more or less internally, and then we implemented efficiency projects, which Gopal will talk more about. And then our site in India, where water is a challenge, we actually all managed to save, and Gopal will also talk more about that later on the specific examples we would like to share. And this is our journey working with water. As a young engineer 20 years ago, I worked quite a lot on water efficiency, reducing water in our operations. That back then it was more site focused, so not a common company goal, but more each site could kind of prioritize. And I did a lot of that in Denmark. Then in 2018, we started developing risk assessment. We started with our 6 largest sites, and then we decided to roll out to our remaining sites. We did this risk assessment to understand our dependencies on water at the sites, to understand the local risk and challenges. And then when we have met the risk, in 21, we developed contextual water management plans and targets. And with that, I would like to give the word to Gopal, who will talk more about the specific projects we have, and we hope to engage in a dialogue with you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayana, for that wonderful introduction to Novonesis, water stewardship approach and journey, and our sustainability ambitions overall. And welcome again, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be talking on behalf of the wonderful colleagues we have in Novonesis who have been doing great things around water stewardship throughout the organization. As Mayana alluded to in one of the previous slides, that we work with the contextual approach for water management, and that has really helped us identify the key areas on water that we as a company need to work in, and how we need to be flexible and change our approach based on what the local conditions are across our sites. So of course, we have these global targets, but we also work with local challenges and how we can address the risks and opportunities that we encounter locally. And how do we ensure that we are achieving the overall water security and improve our water stewardship? As also Mayana mentioned in one of the slides, we work both internally as well as externally. Within our own operations, we continue to focus on water efficiency. We believe that every drop of water that is not used is the cleanest or is the most resource optimized way we can use water. Our teams at different sites across different regions, they continue to identify projects that help us use less water during our production processes. Together with efficiency, we have also been focusing a lot on recycling and reusing water within our own production processes. That's to ensure that the water that we are using, we make the most out of it before it finally leaves our boundary for final discharge. Outside our boundary, we work very closely with the different stakeholders of water, the different users of the water in the region, to understand what are the various risks and challenges. And we work together with them to identify the right solutions to address those challenges. We are working with local communities in some of the regions where we are present to address the pressing challenges around water, especially around wash, access to clean water, and sanitation services. Along with this, we are also investing our time and effort in also understanding the evolving landscape around water stewardship. And we are, based on the new insights, we also evolve our approach on how we have to work with water as a resource. Radhika, if you could move to the next slide. So one of the projects that I'm going to talk about is the reverse osmosis project. This is the recycling and reuse of water project that we have implemented in one of our biggest sites in Denmark. The project basically is the implementation of reverse osmosis technology at one of our product recovery lines that helps reuse of the permeate that comes out of the process, recycle it back within the operations to be used in cooling towers and cleaning and other areas within our own operations. The project has helped us reduce not just water savings or achieve water savings, but also have some energy savings together with increasing yields at our production site. This is one of the great examples of the projects that we have towards one of the targets that Mayana talked about in the previous slides, to reduce our dependence on the fresh water. And we have estimated that through this project, we are able to approximately reduce our dependence at that site by 20% on the fresh water that comes into our boundary. I think this project is also a perfect example of how it also reduces the load on the wastewater treatment plant that we have, and the quality of water that finally goes out of our boundary is how it also helps in ensuring that we maintain the most optimal quality for the water that goes out. I think I will now move to the next slide, Radhika, if you could, and talk a little bit more about some of the learnings that we have had in implementing this project. I think when we implement projects at such a scale, especially technical projects, there are some usual learnings that we come across, which are more related to the project itself, the process, but then there are also new insights that we develop. Some of the usual learnings that we saw, one is, of course, understanding the technology. It is really important as a company for us to be aware of the latest state of art technologies out there to help us achieve our water goals. But have technologies which can be really beneficial in applied if they're applied in the right way. And I think it's a balance that needs to be maintained in understanding the application of the existing technologies, but also working with the stakeholders outside, good companies, and also the various stakeholders who work with water, to understand what is it that we can do better to address water-related challenges. Technical delays and challenges are part and parcel of any project at this scale. We had our fair share of roadblocks, if I can say, in implementing these projects, and it's just the way the projects are. We have to be ready for some of the uncertainties that come in implementing these projects. So the message is that we need to be very ready with the kind of uncertainties that can come, and tweak the process and the way we are working with that projects accordingly. Coming to some of the more interesting learnings that we had during the implementation of this project, I would like to emphasize, water projects in general do not have a very good business case. It's, when it comes to other CapEx projects, when it comes to, if, say, for example, energy efficiency projects or other projects within an organization, we often don't see, water-related projects making a very good business case. But I think the key that we have understood and would like to share with you is to consider the holistic impact. When we consider what are the other secondary benefits, are there associated energy savings, are there yield improvements, or is the project helping us address some of the external risks around water? Say, for example, there is risk around water availability in future years, then is this project helping us address the reputational risk around use of water in the region? And I think when we consider all these holistic impact, it really helps build a better business case for such projects. And it's easier for the teams who are actually working with the projects and water stewardship to bring these ideas to the investment committees and to the senior leadership to help them get approved. I think one of the other things that we have faced as a company when it comes to recycling and reuse is around the perception of water. What has been the history of water? Where was the water used? And now when it has come through a recycling process, where is it now being used? Are all the stakeholders on board with the idea of reusing water in the industrial setting? So I think that's one of the uh, challenges that we have been, thrown, or one of the challenges that has been thrown to us is navigating the world of perception when it comes to recycling. And we have, learned that all users of water have to be on board. So, right from your internal stakeholders, from your customers, from, the end users, everyone has to be on board. And of course, the scaling up of such projects, recycling and reuse within the industrial setting, so much depends on how the regulatory landscape on reuse is. We have experience. This is so different in different parts of the world. We have, there are more relaxed, if I can say, regulations around reuse and recycle within the industrial setting, especially in the food and bev, in few regions and few countries of the world as compared to some others. And I think the key to scale up the reuse and recycle of water within the industrial setting is to navigate and make it easier for companies to reuse water within their production processes. I think with that, we had this small question now for you audiences. So Radhika, if you could move to the next slide. We had hoped to use Mentimeter, but I think we will rely on sharing responses on the chat. So if I can request all the audience members to type in their responses in the chat, and we can look at that. The question that I would like to, and very curious to understand from you all is, what are some of the challenges that you have faced in reusing water within your organization, if you had any projects around that, and how are you addressing and navigating it? I think it will be a great opportunity for us also to understand that part and how are you all navigating that. So perhaps maybe we can give 2 minutes for everyone to type in their responses in the chat, and then we can go ahead from there. Well, I think maybe a word or a few words would also do. If it takes a lot of time to type in sentences, I think we just want to get very quick insights. So keywords would also do. Oh, yes, now I can see the responses coming in. Perception of recycled water color. Yes, but also at the individual level. Cyanotypes, inefficient treatment methods, still in the process of R&D, okay. Yes, Abia, high treatment costs and perception, okay. Yes, that's really, yeah, also something that we have encountered, high treatment costs. Community acceptance, very true, Hari. That's exactly what we were referring to. So here, for us, we are more B2B, but then when it comes to companies where the water or the product is going directly to the customers or the end users, how would they react if their product contained recycled water? Of course, yes. Any more? No, I think then we can move ahead, Radhika.
I also think that talking about community perception is a great way to make sure that we introduce our next project where we talk. Yeah, over to you, Gopal.
Yes, the next project that I would like to talk about is a project that everyone in Novonesis has been super proud of. The way we call it is Novo, so which is the water opulence project that we have implemented at one of our sites in India. And the key aim of this project is to provide access of drinking water to the communities surrounding our sites, but also to ensure there is water restoration in the region where we are located, thereby improving the overall water security of the region. This is one of the finest examples of the projects that we have been doing where multiple stakeholders have been involved, right from the NGOs, right from the local villagers, communities, and also some others in and around our site, which has helped us really make a big difference at the site where we are located in. I think with that, I would not like to spend more time on what the project is about, but also talk about what are some of the key learnings and some of the interventions that we have made on ground outside of our boundary to help the local communities and improve the security of water in the basin that we are present. What we have done as part of the project is to invest and build on structures for water restoration. And that could range from building small dams, building gabion bunds, and all these structures that help improve or retain the water in the region. One of the significant things that we have also done is to revive the dying wells in the region that could eventually store more water every monsoon when the rainfall arrives. What this has resulted is in improved water availability in the region. But together with building these interventions, one of the things that we have also focused in building the water distribution network. So one of the key challenges that our site in India figured for the communities around was that the women in the communities would walk long distances to fetch water for domestic use. And by ensuring that we are building these water distribution networks, it has been made possible that the water is now available at their doorstep. And of course, by investing in these dams and water restoration structures, we are also able to ensure that the water is restored and recharged enough in the region. One of the visible impacts that we are seeing through intervention is that the communities around feel more empowered in the sense they feel more interested and empowered to work with us with the structures that have been built, and are very much interested in understanding how those structures can be maintained over time to maintain the sustainability of the projects and to ensure that the project doesn't die out. And that for us is a great achievement, because often projects around wash and sanitation, once implemented, it is difficult to follow through and maintain these structures, and having the community on board working together with us in ensuring that these structures are maintained, we have been able to work through that challenge in the last few years. Of course, we have seen that the lives of the women especially has had a significant difference. Now they have more time to work on other things than what they used to spend on fetching water for longer distances. I think one of the challenges that we have been seeing recently is how the communities, but also the different stakeholders that are present in the region also impact projects like these. The development activities, what is the potential of those to impact the success of the project? And I think right now we are trying to navigate through that. But as I also alluded to before, one of the key elements that has ensured success for us in this project is the willingness and collaborative approach that we have seen from the communities around, who have been super interested to support and also work equally towards implementation of this project. But I think with that, Radhika, I will pass on the stage back to you again to take us through a further session.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kopal, and thank you, Marianne, for giving us that overview about sustainability, how some of our products also capture our ambition towards water stewardship. And thank you, Kopal, for sharing those two projects about reverse osmosis and community engagement. So that now brings us to the question of where do we go from here? And how do we work then towards a more water secure future? So for us at Novonesis, the main focus is to focus on maximum impact. We need to also focus on the right things and the right places. And this means that we need to identify water risk. We need to engage in assessing risk level, and we also need to figure out how we will loop this into our business cycle. What has been key for us in this journey is our very site-specific or our very localized approach. We understand how important it is to actually work with sites and also to involve them in our water stewardship journey. We also bring in water expertise and as much of technical know-how as we can as we work towards water stewardship. And we hope that some of these actions will actually contribute towards our overall ambition. As we move forward, we believe that our call to collaborative action begins now. This is just the beginning for us. We will continue to have site-specific initiatives, and we will continue to aim for active engagement where we can address our challenges, where we can develop water efficiency projects, and we can also reduce our dependency on fresh water. To do this, we are seeking collaborative action towards peer learning, towards addressing challenges, and also towards forging partnerships. So before I break into the Q&A and I actually stop sharing so we can interact and engage with each other more, I would also like to say that I have provided the email IDs of Kopal and myself over here. So if there's anything further that you would like to know, that you would like to spar on, that you think is important for us to work together to address, please do not hesitate to reach out. We really look forward to this interaction and this collaboration. And with that, I will break out now into the Q&A and I will stop sharing so we can have a good discussion. Does anyone have any specific questions? And okay, we can actually maybe start with this, and we could also talk about some of the challenges that we faced during the implementation of our water projects. I think, Kopal, you can probably take this as this is one of your areas of expertise. Yes.
Yeah. As I also mentioned during when I was speaking, one of the challenges in the reverse osmosis or the recycling project that we have been facing is, of course, navigating the whole dimension of, perception around use of water. That's something we are, trying to navigate and see how we can scale the recycling projects. For now, we are working with recycling of water in the sites and in the production processes, for example, in cooling tower or in cleaning, etc. But we would, of course, like to expand that recycling and reuse to further areas, because that would eventually help us further reduce the fresh water that we withdraw. And we are hoping that we are able to demonstrate use of recycled water in other areas within our production processes. So yeah, keeping our fingers crossed for that.
We have another question here from Ambreen, which is on how we work with community perception. That is, how do we get a more favorable community perception? And also, how do we build enough credibility so that they can trust us that the reused water is fit for use?
Yeah, I can take that again. I think for us, this is something that we face more, we are not facing with the communities, because there what we are doing is actually improving the water availability in the region by helping the communities and the region per se in having the structures that help water retention. So I think the challenge around perception of reused water is less. I think the challenge there is more around ensuring that we are able to sustain those structures. And that's what I mean, how we have worked there in navigating those challenges to actually build the capacity and bringing the communities also on board, so they are equal partners. So I think for us, the challenge around perception of reused water is more, internally, how we can use it within our own production processes. And there we are working, a lot with our own internal stakeholders, and also, trying to get perception from our customers on, what is it that we can do together to improve the performance on water, especially around recycling. So that's how we are trying to navigate that.
And maybe if I may add, we could also start out by using the recycled water for cleaning and not for the final product. Mm-hmm. There are some areas where we can use it where it's kind of less sensitive.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Coming to that, I would also wish to introduce a question here about our biosolutions and how they help to reduce the impact of water. I know, Marianne, you've spoken a little bit about this, but maybe you would like to elaborate a little more about how specifically Novonesis biosolutions can help to reduce the impact of water. You are on mute, Marianne.
I'm on mute. I can mention perhaps another example of our products. We have a product that's kind of an award-winning pathogen biosolution process that combines 3 manufacturing steps into one. And with using this product, our customers are actually saving up to 70% of water and improving the quality of the fabrics. And another example of our products is feed proteases that degrade protein into smaller pieces, so it's easier to digest for the animals, for instance, in poultry. And this improves the feed's protein value and reduces harmful emissions from manures. So I think things like that, and I think our portfolio is very, very broad of many different products, but it's actually really fascinating how these small molecules we're doing actually can make such a difference at our customers.
Exactly. And on that note, we have another very interesting question from Hari, who's talking about small changes and how small impacts can be created to make larger impacts. So the question here is about how can we design small systems that are fit for rural communities at remote areas. So maybe, Marianne, you might like to start to take this, and Kopal, we can also add to this as well. Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't have a super good answer to that. It's kind of for the community, water for the community for small systems.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a good question.
Maybe I can answer that. I think, thank you so much, Hari, for that question. It's a great question. One of the things that we have learned, and I am here at the risk of repeating myself, is working together with the communities, understanding their needs. What do they really need? Often, when we go out as companies, we are so focused on this is what we would like to do. Externally, this is what we want to do, that we often forget what is actually the requirement at the community level. So I think the first step is to understand exactly what the communities need and how can we then address those needs. And I think one of the great things to do is to tap in some of the indigenous ways of how communities have been using and saving water. I think before bringing in a lot of infrastructural changes or designing systems, it's also important to understand, can we do something that resonates more with the communities. So tapping into their own indigenous knowledge of how certain interventions can be designed that can help rural communities get easy access to water or easy access to clean water. And so I think, in my opinion, the right thing would be to sit together with the communities, also perhaps engage with the local, say, for example, NGOs that have experience of working with those companies, because I think it's important to also build that trust, right, with the communities and the stakeholders or the organizations that the communities have already have experience of working with this, and they are most likely the local NGOs. It becomes far easy to be part of that local community and helping them and addressing the challenges that they have. So I don't know, Hari, if that was a super good answer for you, but I have tried and hope that's helpful for you.
It was a beautiful answer, Gopal, and maybe we could also talk to that we have this target for our employees to spend 1% of that time actually on activities that is relevant for where they are, supporting the communities, which creates a lot of engagement among our employees. But this is also actually how we can engage more broadly and create a lot of passion among our employees.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayana, for that beautiful addition.
Thank you. And on that note, could Kopal, could you also talk about maybe how the contextual approach to water, which we take when we're actually working with such a localized mindset, how that's actually linked to our science-based approach as well?
Mm-hmm. Sure. I can try putting some words to that. When it comes to understanding the local conditions, it's also important, and I think that comes just naturally of understanding what is the overall water availability in the region, how is the water quality in the region, because that's part of the assessment that you do to understand the conditions around water at the basin where you are located. And that brings in the scientific part of water management, because as a company, I think traditionally we all as a company have been focused on deciding the targets without understanding what really the conditions of water are outside of our boundary. We have been used to of setting targets for reducing water consumption or R intensity by X amount, and that would be like a global target, without really understanding if a site, say for example in an area which is not so exposed to water availability risk, does it also need to invest in reducing the amount of water, or is it something else that the site needs to do? So I think when we start understanding the conditions around water in the local region, we bring the science to that, and we bring that science within our own decision-making process. So then our targets that we set are informed by the science of water in that region and also the local conditions. And that's how I think we are trying to work to improve our water stewardship in general.
And maybe it's how we're working. Instead of being as kind of global, everything comes out of headquarters where I am located. Then I think using our many different sites and the great employees we have around the world has actually made a lot of sense and made this journey possible and also very inspiring. So kind of setting the organization a bit free in the different regions to look in and then learn from each other, and then super important.
Definitely, yes. Do we have any more questions? Okay, we also have a question on how we often tackle the high cost of implementing some of these corporate water projects.
Yeah. It's a very good question, and it has not been easy for us as well as a company to get projects around water, which, as I mentioned, do not have a very good business case to get those approved. I think it depends on a lot of factors. One is, of course, creating a business case that considers the holistic impact and considering what are the other benefits of implementing a project like that, right? Not just water savings. That really helps, because when you start counting these secondary benefits and turn that into cost savings, either in the form of, say, energy savings, or because you are extracting less water, or you are monetizing, say, for example, the impacts that you can face if you do not address a particular risk. So the financial implications of that, all that helps you build a better business case. But together with that, I think it's also where you are in your sustainability journey, right? Where is your leadership in the sustainability journey that really, drives what gets approved and what doesn't. I think as Novonesis, sustainability is so core at what we do, and our sustainability ambitions are something that we are all very proud of. So when it comes to the projects like reverse osmosis, which are, as you mentioned, they are very investment heavy. We have had our fair share of luck, wherein together with presenting the holistic impacts, we also had the intent, the organization had the intent to also walking the talk. So we have these ambitious targets, and we know we are taking that very seriously. And if it asks us to make those heavy investments, we are on that road to accept and make those investments. So that's how we have tried to navigate the challenges that we have around high cost associated with some of these projects.
And if I can build on what you're saying, Gopal, we actually allow investment for sustainability to have a longer payback time. So yes, normal investment would have a certain years of payback time, and then a sustainability would have longer. We have been here for 150 years. We are here for many years. We are sure this is a good investment for the future.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marianne, for adding to that. We still have a couple of minutes left if there are any final questions. But just a note to the audience, I have shared the email ID of Kopal and myself here in the chat. So if you would like to reach out for further collaboration, knowledge building, please do write to us. We really look forward to hearing from you. I don't believe we have anything more, and we are really good on the time as well. So I think we can wrap up at this point. Yes. So thank you to everyone who has joined us and for staying in and tuning in to listen about our journey on water stewardship. It was really a great experience to share, and we learned a lot from our engagement. So thank you so much for that, and we definitely look forward to hearing from you all eventually.